is Darius Anucauskas. I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. So this is just a quick video preview for the webinar, which is going to happen in a few seconds. So do not tune out. Hopefully you'll enjoy the session. We're going to talk about NVDA. We're going to talk about some other economic indicators which are coming out today, or some of them already came out, but some of them are coming out later on today, and a few of those that are coming out tomorrow. So stick around. Hopefully you'll enjoy the session, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, okay. Hello and good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Darius Anucauskas, and I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday. Today is midweek. We have already passed successfully first 2 trading days of the week. So, hey, I hope those are going well. I hope those went well for you. Let me just change my microphone a little bit. Let me unbutton my shirt. It's getting stuffy here. Look, ladies and gentlemen, hope you can hear me and see me well. Like I said, we have already completed 2 trading days of this week, and we are now jumping into the 3rd one. So I hope, like I said, it's going well for you. We are going to jump into the markets in this session. We're going to have a look what's happening with everything, with the indices, commodities, cryptos, and currencies. So stick around. Do not tune out. Before we jump any further, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So yes, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'm not going to disappear anywhere. I'm just going to put the usual good morning in the chat room. Good morning, everyone. I hope, like I said, everyone's having a wonderful start of Wednesday. Today is the 26th of February, so we still have 3 trading days to go through in this month, and really looking forward towards Friday, to be honest. Not because it's just the end of the week, no, but from the economic perspective, because we are getting the PCEs. We're getting on Friday, but a little bit more about that on Friday. So in the wrap-up session, which I do normally on Friday. So yep, tune in then. But today, let's see what's shaking the market. Also, before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Markets.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at what's happening here with Nikkei 225. So, from the technical perspective, first of all, we did drop below the upside line. I talked about this a lot and said to you, look, I need to see a clearance of one of the sides of this potential ascending triangle pattern, which has been in play from around the beginning of October. And then I will consider the next short-term directional move if we do get a clearance through one of the sides. But I would say what's happening here? We cleared the lower side. Well, according to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the upside, but that's, again, theory. However, I said several times already that, look, wait for the clearance itself, and then we can do something about it. So, long story short, for now, we got the clearance, like I said, through the lower side. We're currently trading below all the EMAs, below the 200, most importantly, below the 200-day EMA, which is shown here as the white line, which is coinciding beautifully with the this upside line. And yeah, so far so good. So far it's more of a bearish indication, and let's see if we can drift further south. Australian 200. So look, for now, what can I say? It also remains below this upside line, below this 100-day EMA. The 200-day EMA is the one that I'm currently watching. So at the moment, we're seeing some sort of like fear kicking in the market, a bit of risk-off environment, because again, everybody's like worried about tariffs and just in general, the geopolitical situation. The central banks are kind of pushed away a little bit further. But hey, that's absolutely fine. For now, I think, like I said, the main focus is like what's happening on the political arena. And there is a lot of things happening. Look, for now, what can I say? For now, I'm leaning towards the downside. For me, the upside scenario here will come on a push back above the 8,373 territory, because at the same time, we'll be climbing back above all the EMAs on the daily chart. China 50. China 50 remains above all the EMAs, and if we do continue to trade above all these EMAs, I'm still somewhat positive. And look, I said to you before, I do like this index for now, because at the moment, I mean, the whole hype is around the AI thing, around chips, and the moment, like I said, because we have the okay, I'll get to NVDA in a bit, but at the moment we're seeing some positivity from China, because again, with this DeepSeek AI thing, where Alibaba is also interested in it, and it seems like there's kind of some hype around China right now. So even the the tariffs, which are supposed to be coming in, are not really, let's say, are not really kind of damaging the index here. On the contrary, it seems like that those tariffs are kind of a thing for people to to think that maybe they're going to reach some sort of a deal. Maybe they're going to actually well, let me just swap this microphone here. Maybe they're going to actually use the tariff thing, that they're the potential additional tariffs, as a kind of a leverage for negotiation. Okay, how it will go, we'll see, because at the moment it's a bit of a everything is very unstable, so we're just waiting for some clarity. So let's jump into the US indices. Oh, by the way, but with China 50, look, it's pretty straightforward for me to start aiming to the downside. A drop below the 200-day EMA for me is needed. US 30, which is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we had a bit of a rebound back up, which is fine. Yesterday, Dow was the best performer from the top three, so yep, gaining actually. Nasdaq fell 1.35%, and the S&P was kind of in the middle. It fell below the 0.47%. So long story short, for now, what can I say? I mean, looking at this picture, the 100-day EMA provided fantastic support. That's okay. As long as we stay below the 50-day EMA right there, then okay, certainly we can, if we can stay above it, then great, I will consider a move higher. But currently we're below it, and there is a chance for this one to drift back down. However, if to be a little bit more on the careful side, I think that a drop below the 100-day EMA here, shown as the blue line, would be required. So this way we can at least kind of be a little bit more on the careful side. The US 500, so which is the S&P 500, is resting perfectly on this upside line. Look, I talked about this upside line. This is not something to, let's say, really stick to or something. It's a tentative upside line, which seems to be for now getting like this attention, because from the chartists, because it's kind of working out, let's put it this way, right? I mean, we're getting a hold up here. We tested the 100-day EMA, but we pushed back up and we stayed above this upside line. Okay, that's absolutely fine. I'm not really complaining about that, but for me to, at this point, to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside, I would like to see a push back above the 50-day EMA here, shown as the green line, and then I'll consider a move higher. For the downside, a drop below the 100-day EMA is needed in order to go to the downside towards the 200-day EMA. And Nasdaq 100, so beautiful hold up as well, upside line, this one taken from the low of the 1st of October of last year, and yes, beautiful test, beautiful hold up. Now we can say that this is providing strong support, and if we were looking at some lower levels, a drop below that upside line is needed. If you're looking at some higher levels, a push above the 50-day EMA here is needed, and this way I can, like I said, I will get a little bit more comfortable with some higher levels. So for now, I would say this way: yes, we are testing the this upside line. Is it going to be forming something of an ascending triangle pattern? Let's wait and see. It's a little bit maybe too early to say, but again, we should consider all options. Given that we're closer now to this upside line and the 100-day EMA, of course, we're watching it carefully, because if this is going to start breaking that upside line, then of course the path opens up towards the 200-day EMA here on my chart, which is roughly around the 20,200 zone at the time of recording this webinar. But certainly, all eyes are on this fella here, NVIDIA, or maybe not fella, maybe, I don't know, whatever, but this company here. So look, I talked about it before, and I talked about it on Monday. Also, I said to you, certainly we can start looking at this from the technical perspective. Of course, we'll look into this from the technical perspective, but also don't forget that we for sure need to look at the fundamentals, because at the moment there is an issue with the competition in a way. Something that something that people are currently talking about and saying that, hey, NVIDIA is going to get strong competition from China, because again they're going to make the chips cheaper. Look, for now, nothing is guaranteed yet. Nothing is confirmed. But one thing for sure is that, and everybody's watching the NVIDIA earnings. Those are coming out Q4. So basically, we're going to have a full year performance. And at the moment, I mean, we're seeing some weakness. We're seeing this stock declining, dropping below the 129.50. I talked about this level, and I said to you that if we do clear this, I'm going to lean towards the 200-day EMA first, and if that gets cleared, I'm going to go further south. Pretty straightforward, very simple, not trying to invent here something. But if we, in order to consider the upside scenario, I would prefer to wait for a push above this downside line. Now, how today's day could go, only God knows. Unfortunately, we can try to speculate. We believe that the market will see good numbers. We'll get the good numbers from NVIDIA. Is this going to be enough for a bounce back up? Of course, maybe yes. But the question is, like, how will we see the interpretation of the fact that that there's competition rising in China, and will investors be afraid of that? In my opinion, I think that we still have some steam left in NVIDIA, because with the current with this DeepSeek thing right now, look, as I understand, they were using NVIDIA's chips as well. So in a way, NVIDIA is still the one that where yes, they can produce cheaper AI or whatever, but still they're using NVIDIA's chips. So NVIDIA is still in demand. And you want it or not, I think that this company still has potential, still has room for growth. Will it be as crazy growth as we saw previously? Again, I don't know. I kind of doubt that, but we at the moment we can try to predict as much as we want, but still it will go as it is planned to go. But I would say that this company, like I said, still has a little bit of steam, unless it really starts, their sales are going to start dropping very heavily. And then, yes, maybe I think that this is where it could be a bit of a problem for NVIDIA. But at this point, like I said, they're still doing chips. They're still doing good chips. They do have competition from AMD, but that company is still on a decline. As you can see, it's still not doing as good as NVIDIA. But look, this whole DeepSeek situation, again, I think that this is more of a problem for Microsoft rather than NVIDIA, and that's why I said in my previous analysis on which I did on NVIDIA a while ago, and that yes, okay, we have an issue, but everybody's still using NVIDIA's chips, so. Like I said, for Microsoft that could be an issue, and this is where a company called Alibaba is jumping in, because these guys are on fire. I mean, look, Of course, they already had the rally, so if you missed this, I would say just chill, don't really do anything here because, again, yes, it might go higher at some point, but I always wait for a retracement, a decent retracement before, let's say, attacking this, potentially attacking the stock. Because again, this is at this point, for me, this is a little bit overstretched. I know maybe it's going to still go towards maybe that 150, 160, 70, 80, 90, or even 200. That's fine. But I don't like to buy at highs, and I just it just goes against my ethos, and I just like to wait for this one maybe to retrace. And then maybe, depending on the situation, depending on the circumstances at that time, then I'll consider maybe buying it. But at this point, I missed the rally. Hey, fair enough. There's plenty of fish in the sea. And like I said, for now, this company is under watch as well. So we're keeping a close eye on it, and if somehow these guys, Baba works out with DeepSeek, and maybe they start creating chips themselves, I don't know, just brainstorming here, then this is where, maybe there could be some issues for this company here, the NVIDIA one, and then we'll go from there, of course. But for now, everybody's watching today's earnings. Today we are expected to see some. Let's have a look at the financials here. There we go. So I think that yes, we're expecting to see some growth still. Yep. Okay. We'll see how that goes out. Let me just double check. Yeah. Okay. So we're estimating a 0.85. Okay. On the EPS. Last time we looked, we had like estimates here. We know the 0.65. Look, okay, if we do the EPS, earnings per share here, so we were estimating 0.56. We were estimating 0.65, 0.75. So, and now we're estimating a 0.85. So we're kind of, let's see if we're gonna beat that. If they're struggling to beat this, maybe this is where some issues could come in. Revenue, we have been estimating, we're still estimating kind of revenue growth here, but it's going to be interesting to see if the revenue growth will be revised somehow. Now that's going to be quite interesting. So if we suddenly see a shift maybe a little bit towards slightly lower numbers, then again, this is, like I said, this is where it might not work out very well for the NVIDIA stock. Let's see. Like I said, keep your eyes on the EPS and keep your eyes on the forecast, the revenue forecast, because if those get revised a little bit more towards the downside, now that's where maybe the excitement for the sellers could come in. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever's tuning in right now, if you have any questions, honestly, reach out. You can drop the questions in the comment box. Feel free. It's an interactive session. This one is, and yeah, we can go from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, jumping further into the market, dollar index very quickly. So continues to drift lower in a way, still trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 3rd of February. We're kind of in a bit of a roller coaster ride. Yesterday we tested this downside line again, and we drifted back down again. We're currently staying below the 100-day EMA, so in a way this is kind of pointing a little bit more towards the downside. Oh, my microphone is falling off. Let me just adjust it very quickly. Yes, so just a second, apologies for this, ladies and gentlemen. So like I said, I'm trying to make this microphone work. There we go, make it happen. It doesn't want to hold. Now it's better. So, ladies and gentlemen, so yes, as I said, so this is something that we're watching carefully as well. But I think that for the US dollar, I think everybody's going to be watching the PCE, which is coming out on Friday. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. I'll pick up on the PCE number on Friday as well in my weekly wrap-up, which you can join in as well every time, so every morning. But look, this is the Fed's favorite inflation metric, right? We're currently expecting this one to decline a little bit by 0.1%. Yep. And the same story with the core, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this one is expected to decline by 0.2%. Okay. Something tells me that I already talked about this on Monday, and something tells me that this is a little bit tricky because, again, I don't know if this is going to go lower that much. I think that might come out as previous. But again, we'll see, because again, look, with the CPIs have been, showing some positivity, or some upside momentum. The US CPIs, yes, and those have, been kind of pushing further away to the upside, again, away from the Fed's inflation target, which is at 2%. And this one here, like I said, it's also, I don't really think that it has stopped. It's going to be a very big surprise if this comes out, let's say, lower than the forecasts. If it does, well, we could see US dollar drifting nicely towards that 200-day EMA. Let's jump into Europe. The German index DAX, and looking good here. So look, we're stuck near this barrier. From the technical perspective, this 22,577, we're stuck near it. And if we want to see some action here to the upside, at least a push above this hurdle is needed. However, of course, the more convenient option for the upside is to see a push above the current all-time high. This way, we could start aiming for the 23,000 zone, which is just around the corner, and then maybe even higher. For the downside, a drop below this upside line, below the 22,116 zone, could be nice, because that just could confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could aim for that 50-day EMA. In terms of economic data from Europe, yesterday we had some, where's that number? I think Monday was the EU inflation number. Yeah, there we go. So EU core inflation came out 2.7. Inflation year month on month decline, the headline one. The year on year inflation 4%. 3.4, and it came out at 4%. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong number. I'm looking at Croatia. Sorry about that, guys. Close enough, very close. This is what I don't like when it's scattered like this. Inflation year on year, and there we go. I thought it couldn't be like that. 3.4 and 4%. Wow, that's too much. But 2.4 previous, 2.5 came out the same as the forecast. So in a way, kind of, we're seeing, an uptick in the headline year-on-year number. Now, that has been upticking since October. When it bottomed here, and then since November, let's put it this way, November, and then it started pushing back up. So this is a little bit of a concern, I think, for the central bank, for the European Central Bank, which is expected to come out with some more cuts. And look, I mean, I think that they're in a rush to drop the rate as low as possible in order to then be able to hike at some point. Because look, they will have to hike in order to maintain inflation. If inflation starts getting out of hand, I think that yes, they will have to start hiking rates. And looking at this picture right now, it seems like yes. What we're seeing is DAX pushing back up. I think that the talks about the peace deal with, the peace deal between, in Ukraine, on the Ukraine war. I mean, look, at the moment, I think that what they're afraid of, I mean, as I understood from most recent news, that Ukraine has signed off like sending half of its minerals basically to the U.S. Look, it's a beautiful thug game here, So one didn't get the minerals, then the other got the minerals. Kind of. It's always the game for commodities. Unfortunately, it's always about money. It's never about anything else. So everybody does it, and this is the thing. So this is how politics work, unfortunately, and there's no justice anywhere. But anyway, look, for now, what can I say? For now, there's this positivity surrounding the fact that there could be a stop of the in the war, and I think that this is the market, what the market is reacting to. So we're seeing DAX pushing a little bit higher, but look, well, I'll say it this way: if we struggle to remain above that 22,577 territory right here, then if we struggle above that, then just to remain above that, then I would say I'm still somewhat considering the downside scenario. But again, let's not rush into things. Very quickly on the FTSE 100, pushing back up here, and we climbed back above the 8,700 zone. So if we continue to trade above that, I will go to the upside. Let's jump into the Forex world very quickly. Let's have a look what's happening with AUDJPY. We did, after reaching the 100-day EMA, we declined back down. We're testing the 50-day EMA. We're currently resting on it. And if we are looking at some higher levels, then certainly there is still a chance for this one to rebound and push higher, But at this point, I think that my preferred scenario for the upside is a push above the 100-day EMA. In terms of the downside, look, a drop below the 50-day EMA, I think that could, spark some interest among the bears. But let's not forget that the main event is happening on Friday, and if you are trading something US dollar related, then keep your eyes on Friday, on the Friday's PCE number. AUDJPY very quickly, so the risk on, risk off monitor here. You can see that there is an interest in the Japanese yen. We're currently resting near this 94.32 to 33 territory. If we get a nice clearance of that, then great. More sellers here could join in. NVDA very quickly on this one. Also the same story as with AUDUSD. We're resting near the 50-day EMA, and if we were looking at some higher levels, then I would say I would prefer to wait for a push above the 0.5771 territory right there. At the same time, we could clear the 100-day EMA, and we could then go from there. Now, looking at the downside scenario here, as I said, the same story, 50-day EMA shown as the green line. A clearance of that one is needed in order to go lower, or basically just a drop below the 0.57. I think that could do well, USDJPY very quickly on this one, so slowly drifting lower, but look at this. We're resting in this key area of support. I mean, this is just fascinating, and this, I think, is really good. So we are currently resting here, and what can I say? I mean, at the moment, it's more realistic that we could see, a move lower. But let's not rush into this, of course, because we need a clearance still. 149 zone, we cleared that one. We are currently oscillating around the 149 zone. But what I would prefer here is to see a drop below the 148.63 zone right there. If we can get that drop, forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. USDCAD. Look, I mean, we have some Canadian numbers coming out this week as well. So let me just shift to Canada on its own. Where's that Canada? Where is that Canada? There we go. That's the Canada. So look, Monday, today we don't have much, but on Friday, now that's when we are going to be getting the PCE. So if you are trading something Canadian dollar related, keep your eyes on Friday as well. So at the same time, when the US PCs are coming out, we're going to get the Canadian GDP numbers. Now, at the moment, there is a forecast that the GDP growth rate, the annualized one, will grow substantially, will almost double. Well, will that be the case? Well, we'll have to just wait and see, because again, if it comes out, the same as forecasted or above, great. We could see some strength in the Canadian dollar. However, if it doesn't, if it just comes out, let's say, on the a little bit lower than the forecast, then there we could see this action here still to the upside. But again, in that case, if we see good PCE numbers, or let's say on the higher side, but if as I kind of expected, but I'm currently expecting. So, but if it doesn't, then yes, I mean, then okay, this could be a little bit way too unpredictable. And I would say this way, that for me, for now, I'm looking at this from the very technical perspective, and what I'm seeing here is that we pushed above my barrier, the 1.4260 here, and we pushed above the 50-day EMA. If we continue to trade above that, I'm going to lean towards the upside, towards that 1.4447 territory, and then we'll go from there. USDCHF very quickly drifting nicely to the downside, basically the same fashion, in the same fashion as DXY, and not much to add here, just aiming to the downside. EURUSD very quickly. We're flirting with this. We're flirting with this barrier, this 100-day EMA, and I'm not really getting any excitement right now. But the fact that we're flirting with that barrier kind of points to the idea maybe we could get that breakout. But as I said in my analysis here on one of the ideas that I threw out on TradingView, you can check out the EURUSD, the upcoming USPC, and the US ECB rate decision. I mean, I'm looking at that, and you can check it out. You can check out that that little piece. It's like a short one, and I'm not really getting way too positive with EURUSD yet. I mean, because there's way too many. If PCE comes out on the slightly higher side, or let's say it comes out as previous, and we're the fact that we know that the ECB will continue cutting rates. I mean, I don't see the positivity in the euro. That's the thing, or I don't see any positivity in the EURUSD pair. So let's keep an eye on that. EUROJPY, very interesting. I love this one. I love this pair, and I like it. And it's currently near this key area of support. So hey, if we do clear that 155 zone, I'm going to go a little bit lower. GBPUSD very quickly. So far so good, just climbing higher near this 200-day EMA. Currently, another mission that hasn't been accomplished. I'm like I said, I'm going on this one slowly. And I said to you before, the 1.2523, that's what I'm looking at. A nice clearance of that area could open the door towards the 100-day EMA, which is coinciding with the 38.2 here on the Fibonacci retracement drawn from the high of the highest point of September to the lowest point of January. So that was a tick. Then I said if that gets cleared, I'm going to go for the 200-day EMA tick. And if we can clear that 200-day EMA, I'm going to go for that 50% here on the Fibonacci retracement, which is around the 1.2766 zone-ish. Not tick yet, but hopefully we get the tick. Yeah, that's kind of it in terms of Forex pairs, ladies and gentlemen. Unless whoever's watching right now, if you want me to cover another Forex pair, I will gladly do that if I have not covered it so far. Let's jump into the commodity world. Gold. I mean, look at this decline yesterday. I mean, amazing. So, okay, there's a lot of fear, and everybody's kind of, fearing that maybe, we're now seeing that corrective move in gold. Because again, maybe interest rates will have to go up again. But until that happens, this is the thing. Until that happens, gold is still the more exciting one. And due to the the geopolitical tensions and everything, I think it still has a chance. And I'm gonna approach this very carefully and cautiously. I'm not gonna rush into things. And I'm just gonna go from what I see right now. We're still trading above the upside line taken from the low of the 6th of January. So as long as we stay above the upside line, I'm leaning towards the upside. However, to get comfortable with the upside, I think that a push above the current all-time high, which is around the 2,956 zone, is needed. So if we can get that move, amazing. More buyers here could join in. But for the downside, pretty straightforward as well. A drop below the 2,882 zone here is needed. And if we can get that move, amazing. My next target will be the 100-day EMA. Silver. Silver is at an interesting spot here as well. And yep. Looking good, I would say, for the bulls potentially later on, not now. But again, looking at this, we're still holding above all the EMAs on my daily chart. Yes, we fell below the 32.30 zone here. But as I said to you before, I need to see a break of this upside line here taken from the low of the 2nd of January, and then we can go from there. WTI oil, very quickly, boom, as planned, as expected. Honestly, I'm very happy. If you have not seen my previous videos and previous webinars, I said to you that I am still bearish on the oil. on oil, and I'm not gonna expect this one to pop higher at this point, because again, drill baby drill, and yep, current potential idea that the war in Ukraine could end, meaning that sanctions on Russia could be removed potentially. And this is where it could open the doors for some more oil. It could open the doors to some more oil, so for Russian oil to hit the market again. I mean, it has been hitting the market in general, even right now, but it's just, it was going through different routes, but now it could be, a more direct one, right? An official one. So, yeah, it's the moment, like I said, I'm leaning still towards the downside, and as I said to you before, 66 or 66 point, or actually, you know what, we can round it up here. The 67 zone is something that I'm watching here very carefully. It was a good area of support previously. Let's see if we can get a nice clearance of that one as well. Natural gas, still stuck. I mean, from the technical perspective, we are looking at this one, and we're having a nice little rebound from this area near the upside line. It's not exactly near this at this upside line, but near the upside line. Look, if you're not comfortable with this, that's absolutely fine, because again, what we can do here is we can, let's say if we're approaching this purely from the technical side, we can keep an eye on this 4.32 zone initially, but just to be a little bit more excited with the upside, a push above the 4.46 zone here probably would be nice. In order to consider higher levels. For the downside, a break of this upside line is required. Coffee. Now I'm getting very, very interested here, because again, we are approaching my key area of support, this upside line, which I talked about it. And I said that if we do drop below the 409 zone, my next target is this upside line, which is near the 50-day EMA, shown as the green line. So this is my good area of support. If we can clear that, I'm going to go lower. I'm going to go for that 100-day EMA. But for now, if we do end up, testing this 50-day EMA and this upside line, and we struggle to remain below it, then yes, great. We could see maybe a little bit of a rebound. Oh, Jindao, hey, good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you, kind sir. I really appreciate your participation, your comments and everything. I really, really thank you for that. Check out, by the way, check out Jindao's material as well. I mean, he's a good analyst himself, and yep, like I said, you can learn a lot of good things from him as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, yes, Jindao, thank you very much for your kind words. Really, really appreciate that. So, right. So with the coffee, that's the game right now. I mean, we're seeing some stabilization, which is fine. Let's see how much further it will go, to the downside. Will it get a hold up somewhere here? If not, okay. If we can get a breakout here, that's fine. My downside scenario is getting confirmed as well. Sugar, one of my favorite ones here. Sugar is bouncing around that $20 mark, the psychological one, but the most important is we fell back below the downside line. So after a brief visit to the upside here, and we clear the EMAs, we clear the downside line, but we fell back below this downside line, then yes, what can I say? For now, I am kind of I'm stuck, I would say. I'm not even leaning towards the downside, because my downside scenario would be on a drop below the 19 zone. Here I'm allowing it to move around, and I'm not really touching it. But if by any chance we start pushing back above this downside line, we push above the 200-day EMA, wonderful. I will consider a move higher. And let me just jump for dessert. Let me just jump into the crypto world. So, ladies and gentlemen, on Monday, when I was covering this, the cryptos here, and I said to you with Bitcoin that, look, for me to get comfortable with the downside, I need to see a drop below the psychological 90 zone and this 100-day EMA, which coincides with the lower side of this little box here. And look, so far so good. I think that it's opening the door towards the the 200-day EMA, which is basically around that 80,000 zone, the psychological 80,000 zone. And I think that this is something that we could keep an eye on, and but only if we stay below the lower side of the of this box, of this range. Somebody might say, hey, but it's, oh, right, I mean, we knew that it's going to break out lower because it was a double top. Look, could have, should have, would have, right? I mean, yes, I mean, I was also telling you that, I'm going to lean towards the downside if we clear this area, which kind of coincides with the idea of the neckline, of seeing, this potential double top pattern. Well, so far so good. In any way, I'm interested more right now in this idea of testing the 200-day EMA. Now, what I'm also interested in here is in my Fibonacci. So let's draw from this area right here, from the lowest point of August, when we kind of started reversing and started creating higher lows, and all the way to the all-time high. So we're currently, you can see that it's currently resting perfectly on the 38.2% on the retracement on the Fibonacci here. The 200-day EMA is near the 50%. So very nice, attractive area here for a, for a drop, for a test. Again, let's see if that's going to be the case, if we can work out. But hey, looking good here for now for the downside, and as long as we stay below the 100-day EMA, I'm leaning towards the downside. Ethereum is also drifting lower, and okay, look, I mean, this one fell below the 2,500 zone here. That's okay. So now it's kind of opening the door towards that 2,000, maybe 120 zone, somewhere around here, and that's what I'm going to stick to for now. Ripple, similar story, but okay, but with Ripple, it's a little bit tricky, because with Ripple, we are resting near this 2.27 area right here. Look, we did drop lower. We went towards the 200-day, towards the 100-day EMA. We ticked that, and now the question is, can we actually go again towards this area? Well, I'm not rushing into things, because for me now, a problem is this, that maybe we're going to end up being in a little box, in a little range right here. So if that's the case, congratulations for all those who like to trade ranges, because this is something that could be for you. Litecoin, very quickly on Litecoin, also got a hold up above the 50-day EMA, but basically above all the EMAs on the daily chart here. So hey, I would say if you're looking at some higher levels, I think that as long as we stay above all the EMAs here on the daily chart, I'm gonna lean towards the upside, and this downside line needs to be redrawn here, and this is what I'm going to keep an eye on. So if we do stay above all the EMAs, wonderful. I will, like I said, I will consider a move higher, something like this basically. If we start falling below this upside line, below the 100-day EMA, I'm considering a move lower. Dogecoin, I'm leaning towards the downside on this one, and I think that this is where it could continue drifting to. So, long story short, for now, let me just put my microphone back on here. So for now, the issue here is that this whole Department of Government Efficiency is not really doing the job here for Dogecoin, and we're seeing a nice drift lower. We're aiming for the lower side of the falling channel right now. I'm going to stick to that idea, and then I'm going to go from there. Polkadot is interesting. I mean, we saw a decline yesterday, a strong one, and it seemed like, wow, this is going to go further south, but this is where you need to wait for the day to end, because look at this, we drifted lower. It seems like that's it. We're staying below the 4.43 territory, 44 zone. I talked about this one, and we created a false breakout. Basically, we created a false breakout. We pushed back above this downside line. So in a way, it's kind of giving me a little bit of hope. However, my hope will be more hopeful if we do push back above the 4.88 zone, and then we'll go from there. And Bitcoin Cash looking good here as well. What can I say? For now, I mean, looking good for the bears. I mean, I talked about this on Monday, if you remember. I said to you, keep your eyes on this little descending triangle pattern, and look, it did work out according to the TA rules. It did break out lower. Fantastic. Right, mission accomplished. Also, one of our targets got reached here because I was aiming for this lowest point of February, the current lowest point of February. Came very close to that. That's fine. We'll take that. And now we're reevaluating things again. So I'm gonna aim for lower levels on this one. If we do fall below that 272 territory, if we can get that move, amazing. More bears could join in for the upside. A push above the downside line here is needed. And if we can get that nice clearance of that downside line, a push above the 310 zone, then great, wonderful. More buyers here could join in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll have to wrap it up here. So the midweek review, we're finished with that. Look, join me on Friday, as always, 8 o'clock GMT time, 10 o'clock GMT plus 2 time. So yes, join me then for another market review. We'll wrap up the whole week, but look, I hope you found this useful. I hope you found this session useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really, really appreciate your time. Once again, Jin Dao, thank you very much for your comments. I really appreciate that as well. And look, if you have any questions, you can always drop them in the comment box, and either during the live session or after the session. And we can go from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Risk only what you can afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. I'll see you on Friday. Yep. Check out our YouTube and TradingView channels, and for more information. And yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.